everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
To this case involving Nolan Wells. You've been all over this case right now. Just as a reminder to the audience, Wells was the 18-year-old college football player from Ocean Springs, Mississippi, who was on a boat July 4th with a group of friends and traveled by private boat to Horn Island, an uninhabited barrier island off the Mississippi coast. Wells was the only black person, so reported, on the boat. When the friends returned to the mainland, Nolan was the only one who did not make it back. Talk to me about this story, Nancy, and what do you make of it at this particular moment in time?
I think that it is very murky, and I do not understand, Stephen, the demands on all platforms for the investigation to be shut down. Is it possible Nolan Wells died by accident? Yes, it's possible. Is it possible that there was foul play? Yes, that is possible. And I don't believe the investigation should be shut down until we know the answer to that. I have 2 children, both the age of Nolan Wells. I would be lying on the courthouse steps screaming for justice if the investigation into a death related to them was shut down before I had answers. So I don't understand where all the hate is coming from.
Who specifically is calling for the shutdown of the investigation? Just to educate my audience.
Well, go online. There's any number of people, thousands of people that think that, quote, this was an accidental drowning. Why are you doing this? You're a race baiter. You're fill in the blank.
I actually seen TMZ. I'm gonna see if I can find that clip while we're watching this. TMZ, the audio, we played the audio from what, professionals fix the audio to, get clear it up and see what they was actually saying on this call, which they didn't realize was being recorded as soon as they made the call. But when the operator came on, he was like, shut the fuck up, So TMZ, the black guy from TMZ, was kind of like being covering up like what they were saying. Like he was acting like what we heard was not what we heard. Now I couldn't clearly say everything that was said on there because I don't want to murk up anything or be wrong, but I just let y'all figure it out for yourselves. I mean, I hope y'all watched it, but we can listen to it again because I still got it. But yeah, I'm gonna show y'all that.
This has nothing to do with what color his skin was. This has to do with an unanswered question. During my prosecutorial career, I very often was the only white person in the courtroom. That has nothing to do with Lady Justice. What Lady Justice wants, what justice demands, is a full and fair investigation. And I'm also not saying that's not going on, because my boss, Lewis Slayton, the longest serving elected district attorney at that time, I think, Stephen, it was 37 years, was like a grandfather to me. He was very strict, no one to speak to the press. It could ruin the case. I always had the same answer when asked. I believe a Fulton County jury will render a verdict that speaks the truth. Because I did believe that. We are not owed an explanation from law enforcement as to what they are doing. However, there are a lot of questions, specifically, Stephen, regarding the autopsy. The initial autopsy has remained under seal. We don't know what the answer was. The family, understandably, sent Nolan's body hundreds of miles away for a second opinion. When that doctor got the body, the lungs and the throat were missing. I understand why the lungs were missing, because this could have been a drowning case. But why the throat? What was there about Nolan's throat that piqued the interest of the original medical examiner? That leads me to speculate. Was there bruising? Was the hyoid bone fractured? Was it broken? Was it dislodged? Is there possibly bruising on the strap muscles? Is it indicative of a blow? We know on the back of the head, that's your occipital bone on the back of your head, about where your hairline would start. that there is deep red discoloration under the subcutaneous tissue. What? Is it from a blow? Is it from diffusion of the blood post-mortem? I don't know. But none of it is good. So I need answers before any investigation is going to be.
Yeah, we need answers. So Nancy Grace speaks on that. Now, I'm going to let y'all hear what this was said.
Were Nolan Wells' friends talking about him and talking about him possibly being dead while they were on their way back to the mainland from Horn Island? This is all because of some audio that we got from officials down in Mississippi. This audio is a call that's being made from the boat that Nolan's friends were on. So after they're on Horn Island on July 4th, at the end of the day, about 4:30, they decide they're heading back to the mainland. And the owner of that boat, or the grandson of the owner who's driving the boat, realizes that they are taking on water. Their bilge pump isn't working, so he places a call to a tow company called Sea Tow. And while he's on that call, there is a lot of commotion going on. And what people think is that in the background of that call, you can hear someone say, "Is he dead? Nolan. Oh my God."
See, he says people think they hear. So, of course, we're going to hear it. But
It's really hard to make out. This is what it sounds like.
I don't know why they have this music over this. I don't know what the deal is, why they did that, but this is on TMZ. They did something wrong. I think they're trying to murky it up so you can't really tell. You just got to go somewhere else and find the original audio, which I do have.
CETO Assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you? All right.
So, actually, no. So that music, that's the original audio when like they're on hold, and when they call in, it's already recording, and so you can hear that going on, and that was the original audio. So that's where the music came from. I didn't know where that music came from when I first heard it.
CETO Assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you? All right, of course. How far is the word coming up, sir?
No, we do not need that.
All right.
No, we do not need that.
Now, there are other parts of the audio where people think they hear the words "check his chest" or "wake up." One thing you can definitely hear clearly is the guy who's calling the tow company says, "Shut the bleep up." Now, he could have been yelling to some people. He does tell the dispatcher that there are about 7 people on board, all of them under the age of 21, he says. Now, here's what doesn't make sense. If they really were, and again, that audio is very difficult to make out. I mean, you can definitely hear, "Oh my God." The Nolan and Izzy dead part is up to interpretation. What doesn't make sense is why would they, if there had been foul play and something happened to Nolan or someone did something to Nolan on that boat, why would they be talking about it loudly while he's on the phone to a tow company? Just doesn't add up. People we've spoken to in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, say that whole conversation here in the background is just chaos as these young, as I say kids, but these young men were trying to get back to the shore and the boat's taking on water. They're all trying to figure out what to do. Are they going to have to get off the boat? That's what all that chaos is, what we're told by people connected to the kids who are on that boat.
Yeah, see, he's really not trying to solve this.
Am I?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and Our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Hey, up! Shut the f*** up!
Yeah, so that was the more cleaned up audio without the music in the background. What we heard on TMZ was the original audio, and that's the cleaned up version. So y'all can kind of make your own determining factor of who's really covering stuff up.
Shut down.
What do you make of those who have said, I remember Officer Tatum, a conservative podcaster, very popular, over 3 million subscribers. He's been on a warpath going down, talking to some of the people that were there with Nolan Wells, white individuals. He's saying that evidence is showing that when they departed, Nolan Wells was alive, and you know what, they may have had absolutely positively nothing to do with this. The evidence shows that. Is that your finding, that the evidence shows that the people being, with allegations being thrown in their direction, the suspicions that have been raised by these people that were in attendance with Nolan Wells, that they should be, they have been proven or found to not have been around even when he was still alive? Is your findings consistent with anything along that verbiage with what people are saying about these kids that were with him?
No, I don't know the answer to that. They say Nolan chose to stay behind because he met a girl he wanted to talk to named Katie. That girl has spoken through her sister, we are told. And she says Nolan told her, I'm going back with my friends. So who am I supposed to believe? I don't know for a fact that what the boys are saying is true. I don't know for a fact that what the boys...
Has anyone else heard that narrative? Every day I be hearing something. Every day I hear something new. I'm not sure I heard that I heard the girl spoke through her sister, but I didn't hear what she said. Like, I haven't seen any video. If there's an investigation, they're talking to her. So, of course, the police are not releasing if they have talked to Katie, or if they're not. The police are not releasing a lot of details because this is an ongoing investigation, and you know how that goes. You don't want to just show your hand of what you have collected, and you have to piece it together. Now, hopefully they're doing the right thing, that they're putting it together, because there's a lot of things that are fumbled in these cases when it has something to do with young kids, because on one thing I can tell you is, if you lie, you have to keep the lie up, and that lie has to make sense. So if anybody's lying, eventually the lies will start to unravel. So we'll see.
are saying is false. I do know they called SEATOW, S-E-A, second word T-O-W, and said that their vessel was sinking. But yet they continued boating around in it for hours after. Is there an innocent explanation? Maybe. Maybe they thought it was sinking. They found the problem and they fixed it. Now, specters have been raised about audio suggesting Nolan had been on the boat on their return. I don't know if that was doctored. I don't know if it's real. I do know this. He went to Horn Island with them. They came back alive. He's dead. I'm going to investigate. You're darn right I'm going to investigate. And my wish is that his friends are innocent and that this was an accident. But it will be a cold day in HELL that I endorse closing down an investigation because somebody said I had nothing to do with that. What? Am I supposed to go, oh, okay, case closed, forget about it, and go tell the mom, we're shutting down the investigation because so-and-so said he had nothing to do with it.
Have you received any indication from law enforcement that that is their intent, that their desire is to close down this investigation? Have you received any indication like that at all?
No, and that emboldens me. That emboldens me because so far they haven't finalized this thing. As a matter of fact, the other day, a female journalist got a hold of law enforcement, the sheriff. He wouldn't answer any questions, which he should not have. And he stated that all questions were to be directed to the district attorney's office. I expect what they'll do is this, Stephen. I expect that they will call in a grand jury. A grand jury has two purposes. It can be a charging grand jury. I presented hundreds of cases to grand juries to get an indictment. It can also be an investigative arm. It can subpoena documents. It can call for witnesses. It can question them. It's an investigative, a fact-finding grand jury. They may do that, or they may be able to do it on their own without calling in a grand jury.
Yeah, I believe this investigation will continue on. I don't think they'll close it down. I do not think this is about race. This is not about race. This is about truth and justice. I do believe they were friends. If there was drinking involved, there may have been an altercation. We know of one altercation, but it had nothing to do with Nolan. It had something to do with another friend, and you know what? Have y'all been to a party where one fight breaks out, then another fight breaks out just randomly? Like, damn, why they start fighting over there? You know, if you haven't, then maybe you didn't live a little, okay? But again, I've been to these places. I've partied with white people before, and it's fun parties, and there's a lot of drinking, and there may be a fight, you know. There may be a couple fights. Nothing too serious. Nobody pulls out a knife or a gun. So sometimes they'll get up and shake hands. And then later on, you'll see them drinking together. And one of them has a black eye. The other one has a busted lip. Probably something wrapped around their arm because the arm hurts. All type of crazy, wild stuff I've seen partying on the Illinois River with white folks. So, you know. So I don't think it's about race. I think it's about kids having fun, and things just got out of hand, and someone got hurt, and then, you know, but I don't know. So Nancy Grace just wants to get to the bottom of it, man. Let me know what y'all think about that crazy situation in the comment section.